Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time to share with you some things that are going on. Anything Stampin' related, sometimes not Stampin' related, but today I have a great Beachy card for you, and it features a product that is on sale for the next 3 days, and that is our two-toned cardstock. So we're going to talk a little bit about two-tone cardstock, what that's all about. It is a product that is relatively new to Stampin' Up, and it is fabulous, and we'll show you some features of it and how to use it on a card. So let's pop over to my desktop and get started. All right, so we're going to be using the Notes and Totes bundle for this. I should have started with the paper, but I'm just going to show you this real quick since it's on my desktop. So these are the greetings, etc., and stamps that come with the bundle. So those are the stamps, but here are all the dies, and these are the dies that make that adorable little tote bag, hence the name, Notes and Totes. And it also has a bunch of beachy kind of stuff that you can add. This is a little lighthouse. We have elements of the bag, etc. Anyway, we're going to use actually the shell and the starfish to make our card Beachy. So here's the card that we're going to make. Now, Lynn Phones is the person who brought me this card. We had a demonstrator event where we swapped projects, and this was her project, and I just fell in love with it. And then once I heard that our two-tone cardstock was going to be on sale, I said, oh my goodness, we have to do this card this week. It's also a card from my Stamp classes that I'm holding tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So it serves a lot of purposes having this today. So let me just talk about the two-tone cardstock. Now the cardstock color that I have here, actually, let me get the flat version. This is the same sheet of paper, just the two different sides of the paper. So you can see that this is Pool Party, and at the top it's this light shade, and at the bottom it's the dark shade. And they're the same pieces, because look, when I turn it over, now the light side became the dark, and the smaller piece became a light. And so that is a big feature of this cardstock. It's also a little lighter weight than our regular cardstock, even lighter weight than our basic white cardstock. So it is thinner than that. It's almost a designer series paper weight, but it is a little bit heavier than that. And the real feature of this is that it has a white core. Now that just means that the color does not go all the way through. So the color on one side is printed on the paper, and then the color on the other side is printed on the paper. All right, so that is really those are the main distinctions of this cardstock from our other papers that we have. And so what I did is I cut two pieces of the paper and flipped one of them over, and I sent them through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine using the Soft Waves embossing folder, because we want some waves, right? So might as well use what we have. And so in order to get this wave effect with the tide rolling in, if you will, we're going to tear the paper, and that's where you get to show that beautiful white core. So for those of you who are coming to class, this is your little lesson on how to do this. So we're going to take the paper. Now, if you are right-handed, you're going to hold the paper steady with your left hand, and on using your right hand, you're going to tear towards you. Now, if you are left-handed, you're going to do the reverse. And when you do this, you'll see that the white core is showing up on that left side. Okay, so I'm just carefully tearing, and I'm going to go all the way down to the other edge. Okay, so we've got that, but we also have this, and if we flip that over, you'll see that we have another layer that we can put on. Now, what I could do, I probably did it a little bit too close to the edge down here. I was not really watching what I was doing, too focused on making sure that I do this video. But one thing you can do is you can fold back that edge to get it to come back up. All right, so you can see that white. And that's what I'm going to do on this one. But normally what I would do is go back and tear it a little bit more. So if you're coming to class, don't go quite this small on that one edge. You want it a little bit more than that in order to get that layer. And then you'll see that once we did that, these are, I'm not sure what I did here, but I'm going to go this way on this card, on this one. So we have that tone, and then I can do the same thing. I want to have an equal wave, and I'm going to do it on the light side on this one, and I'm going to tear that down. As you can see that I've got that wave. And so we now have our layers that we can put together. So you can layer them however you feel that it works. I actually kind of like this. I like it this way too. Had I done it properly, but I didn't. Yeah, it's always something in one of these classes. But I'm going to take a piece of Crumb Cake cardstock. I'm going to fold that in half. And I'm going to grab a little scrap of paper because again I'm on my glass mat. And I like to have something underneath it when I stamp. And I'm going to take the little, it's just like sand, little speckles. And these speckles can be used for anything. And I'm going to use my Crumb Cake pad. And I'm going to stamp all over the bottom. And, you know, I'm just doing this randomly. And if you wanted to, you could stamp off. And I know that's what Lynn wanted us to do. But I have the bad habit of forgetting. You know, it's one thing to stamp off when you're going over just a little area. But when you're doing a big area like this, you don't want to do that. So anyway, so here we do. Now we have our base there. And so now we can go ahead and add our paper to the top. Okay, so you're going to arrange things where you want them. So you see how this would have been great if I had done that properly, but I'm going to go ahead and adhere it like this. So I'm going to start with this. Actually, I'm going to stamp my sentiment next so that I make sure that I don't cover it up by accident. So I'm going to use Early Espresso, and this is one of my oldest pads because I am all set up for my classes that start tomorrow morning, and my newer Early Espresso pad is already out there. So I'm just going to put Sending Warm Wishes. And when you're working with a stamp that has some script and some print, you will always want to make sure that you have your print straight, okay? So in this case, the Warm Wishes, I want to make sure looks straight on my card. And then the scripted part will fall into place. But if you have that crooked, then it becomes pretty noticeable. So you want to make sure that you do. All right, so I'm just going to add a line of adhesive here. I could have put it on the back of this sheet, but I don't like to press out the embossing that's there. Then I'm going to take the piece that I kind of screwed up, and I decided I wanted to put that on here. Okay, and I'm just going to make sure. See, probably should have put this one a little bit lower. Let's move this down a little bit. This is what happens when you make the card way in advance of the live. You sometimes forget what was it that I did? And there we go. This is going to look different, but still pretty cool. So here, this one, I'm just going to go ahead and put the adhesive right onto the paper. Oops, can't really see that. It's there. And then I'm going to come back in here and lay that down so that it stays. And then finally, this piece will go up top, and we'll have this one. I'm going to actually put my adhesive here to make sure that I get it really good. And I can always add a little bit more if I want to, and I probably will. You can also use your wet adhesive, especially when you're positioning it like the way that I'm doing it here. Let's go ahead and put a dollop of adhesive down there to make sure that it stays. So that way I can just tuck it under. So a little bit different look. I like the look of this one better, but let's get it up. Anyway, okay, so there we have it. Maybe this one needs a little bit more too. Just putting a little bit of adhesive there and holding it down. All right, so then I took Lynn did this, and so I did the same thing. This is our Pastel Ombre Glimmer paper. Look how pretty this is. It comes in 3 colors, and the colors are this like lemon lime twist, and then it's this purple, which is kind of fresh freesia-ish, and it also comes in like a pool party kind of color, but we're just going to use these 2 colors. And you can see that I die cut out the starfish and the shell. So 2 starfish and 1 shell, and you see how they glitter? They're so pretty. And you can see that this is from the same sheet of paper. So ombre just means that the color shifts from maybe a light color to a dark color, and sometimes it changes colors entirely. So this one you can see is more pink. So at one end of it was more pink, and then this end came out to be almost, like gorgeous grape even. But regardless, it just gives that the idea that it's more of an iridescent kind of a shell. And you see that this shell is actually, it cuts all the way through, so it comes out like a little spiral, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and add our starfish and our shells wherever you would like. You want to have it maybe floating in the sand, and for this I'll just use my my green glue. We call it green glue because the bottle is green, and I'm just using dots of adhesive to make sure that it gets on there. And you can obviously put them anywhere you want. Oops, I'm already sticky, so let's see. I'm going to do this one here, and I'll put this one over here. Okay, so there you have it. So it's a pretty simple card, and really that beautiful paper really makes things stand out. So again, this is one way to do it, and when you're watching the waves, this is exactly what happens. When you're standing there watching the water come in, it comes in pieces. Okay, so it kind of has that realistic look. And again, if you're coming to class, you probably want to do it more this way. But it gives you that idea. And if you wanted to, I didn't put one on the inside, but I'm going to also use some crumb cake and stamp a little bit on the inside so you can see. Goodness, just a little. And if you want, you can put a message on the inside. When we did the card at this class that we did this large happy birthday, which was, I thought, a great use of that stamp. But we're just going to keep our inside just plain and put this on the inside. And there you have it. So we've got a nice, fun, beachy card. We've used our 2-tone cardstock. Now let's just talk about the 2-tone cardstock again. It is on sale. Our 2-tone cardstock actually comes in all of our Stampin' Up! Exclusive alliterative colors. So that is 52 of our regular colors plus an additional several. I'm sorry, 50. Comes out to 50. So it's 4 sets. And you can buy them in packages that are assortments, or you can buy them individually. If you buy them individually, they have 12 sheets in each package. And definitely you can get a lot. They are 12 by 12. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So it's great for scrapbookers. And actually, that's where this paper came from. It's from Close to My Heart. This was their signature product, the 2-toned white core 12 by 12 cardstock. So when they joined us, we took on their inventory and their their product, and we made it our own with our own colors. So we changed that around a bit. But now we have our full line with these colors, and the paper is on sale 20% off on July 9th, 10th, and 11th. So if you are interested in that, please head over to my online store and you can check that out. So thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about two-tone cardstock or about tearing your paper the right way, you can just let me know. And but you can find lots of uses. One other thing that I didn't mention is that you can also sand it so that you can see the white core comes through. So that's something I've done on other videos, and you might be able to find that on my blog. So anyway, thanks for joining today, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.